Hello Fiction Sheiks, welcome back to the channel. This is another 642 Tiny Things to Draw update. We are starting off with tweezers. This is mostly done with graphite and colored pencil, and as usually I scribble over the entire page with graphite, then smooth it out with my finger, and then start going in with shadows. I said that really weird. I'm using a bit of gray and black colored pencils just to play around with mixed media. I outlined this using a Micron pen, and I added some even darker, really heavy shadows with Micron because I think that looks cool and moody. When I was happy with all the shadows and coloring, I smudged a bit of silver shiny acrylic paint because tweezers are metallic and I like things to be shiny, so there's that. And then lastly, I added a little bit of highlight with a white acrylic paint pen. Here it is finished. Next up we have barnacles, and I completely freehanded this one because I didn't really know how to approach it, so I figured, alright, fuck it, let's just go in and see what happens. First, I scribbled out some vague barnacle shapes, and I added little tendrils coming out of some of them. This is done with a Micron pen. Then I came in with watercolor by the brand Artecho, and I fucking winged the whole thing. I'm using brown for the background because barnacles gotta stick to something, so I was thinking maybe they're sticking to like a wood post. For the barnacles, I used a grayish blue color, and then for the highlights and shadows, I used a pink and a violet color. Kind of haphazardly added those highlights and the lights, and then I did add some red over the tendrils to make them stand out a bit more, and I blotted a darker brown into the background just to give it some texture. For completely winging this entire doodle, it's actually not bad. Like, it's not great, but I've done worse. So here's that, and also, this looks really familiar. Here is a doodle from September 28, 2003 that was also based off of barnacles. Next up, we have woodpecker holes, and the reference that I chose to use, the bark on this tree kind of overlapped like shingles, like on a roof, so that was really cool, and that's part of the reason why I chose to draw that type of tree. I very scribbly outlined everything with Micron, and I added some texture lines as well in the bark. And now here I am shading with graphite. That was long and tedious and very repetitive. This whole doodle was repetitive because it's mostly the bark, and as you can see, the bark is just wobbly rectangle after wobbly rectangle. I added a little bit of color for where the wood is showing through the bark with a brown Artist Loft colored pencil, and then I colored in the holes with black, of course, because of their holes, and there's that done. Now we have fish food, and my concept was feeding the fish, obviously, and I chose a betta because bettas are so fucking pretty. I love betta fish. This whole thing is done with Artecho watercolor, and at the top of the page there, I blotted down some orange for, like, fish flakes. And I painted the fish with all of the shimmery watercolors because fishies are shiny. Also, holy fucking crap, getting that tail to look the way it does. I had to erase and redraw the tail like 10 fucking times because I could not get the overall shape and all of the folds in the tail to look good. It was extremely difficult no matter how many reference photos I used. It was... But eventually I got something I was happy with, and this is outlined in Micron, and I used like 4 different colors for the betta fish because betta fish are often very colorful, and I like very colorful fishies anyway. This clip is just showing the shimmer of the watercolor, which is so pretty, and here is the finished product. Next up, we have a blister, and I chose specifically to do a blood blister because I thought a regular blister would look too much like the pimple drawing from a while ago. This is haphazard finger painting, partly because I used Flysea for the base color, as in the skin tone and then the redness around the blister. And that is a really shitty brand of acrylic paint marker. The paint wasn't coming out of the nozzle, so I had to take the nozzle off and just like pump the handle. It was a fucking mess. Anyway, for the actual blister part of it, like right here, the purple, that is done with Grabie, and Grabie is actually a good brand of acrylic paint pen. This one did not come out very good. Like, this doesn't really look like a blister, but I did have fun making a mess on paper. So, there's that. Moving on. These next 2 doodles I drew together at once. We have an inch of rain and a campaign button. Starting with an inch of rain, I drew a rain measuring cup, and I actually did take a ruler and drew out the measuring line that way, so those actually are inches. I covered both doodles in a layer of graphite first, then added a bit of blue with a colored pencil, blue for rain, obviously, and then blue for the buttons, thinking maybe they're like stuck on a denim jacket. I added a bit of shadow under each button, and then here I am outlining the measuring cup with Micron. That measuring cup looks very wonky, like it's kind of tapering in at the top there, but well, too late to fix it now. I added white acrylic paint for highlights, and then I filled in the background with darker graphite just to separate the background from the measuring cup. And then I called it done, and apparently I did not record the process for the campaign button, oopsies, but anyway, it's mostly scribbles. I had fun doodling. Obviously, these are very simple buttons. They say vote, and I used white and blue acrylic paint pens for that. Next up, we have wine dregs. Not gonna lie, I had to look up what that was. Apparently, it is the wine residue that sticks to the cups. Here I am shading the bottom of a wine glass with a mechanical pencil. I smudged it with my finger to smooth it all out, and then erased all of the graphite that smeared into places that I didn't want graphite. I used a red colored colored pencil to fill in the very bottom of the cup and the background. Honestly, I thought this colored pencil would be a lot more wine colored, but it's more like cherry or apple colored, so not the perfect color match. Then for more detail, I used a red Grabie acrylic paint pen to get like the grainy bits of wine dregs, and also I used a white paint pen to get the highlights on the cup, and then I called done, and now we have a jelly bean. Gonna be honest, I did not try super hard on this one because I was not very inspired by it. Anyway, that little paper damage in the bottom left there, yeah. I have these canned protein drinks, and one exploded when I opened it, so that's why the last couple pages have had some tears in it. Anyway, this is mostly colored pencil with a little bit of graphite for shading, and then a little bit of acrylic paint for more dimension, I guess. Anyway, now we have a fortune cookie. More specifically, the paper in the fortune cookie, but the main focus of this drawing is actually the fortune cookie itself. Also, I didn't realize this until it was too late, but that paper is far too small for the fortune cookie. I used yellow as a base color. I shaded with orange. I filled in the background with red because I think red complements fortune cookies very well, because like fortune cookies luck thing, red is good luck in China. Anyway, I outlined in red acrylic paint, and the paper says luck is right around the corner. Now we have a shot glass, and I attempted to do one of those really cool overlapping shadows that get a little color in the center. Yeah, so here I am base shading with graphite as per usual. I don't know if the shading on the glass actually makes any sense, but anyway, coloring in the shot liquid with a reddish brown, and then a little bit more brown, and then yellow. I don't actually know if that looks like any type of alcohol color, but I do think the final doodle looks pretty cool. Lastly, we have silver dollar pancakes, aka tiny bite-sized pancakes, and I am using a new art supply for the first time. This is acrylic paint pens by Shuttle Art. These are very transparent, like even with 2 coats you can still see my sketch lines through the paint, which isn't a problem per se, it's just not what I expected. But I had fun doodling with these nonetheless, so obviously a pale yellow for the base color at the pancakes, and then blotting and somewhat outlining with a brown for like where it gets cooked, and then here I am using a metallic brown for the syrup because there wasn't really an accurate syrup color, so I thought shiny was the next best thing. I filled in the plate blue because blue was calling to me for some reason, and here I am adding in some highlight lines, and at the top there's a strawberry, and I pretty much added the strawberry, one, because it's cute, but 2, also to scale the pancakes a little bit to show you that they're teeny tiny. The background is pink. It's looking a little more orangey in this lighting, but it's pink, and I thought the pink was cute. This is a cute doodle. Anyway, thank you so much for watching. Please remember to like, comment, and subscribe. If you want to see more of me, click the link in the description box, and I'll see you in the next video. Bye!